What television series had the biggest ullshit finale? Please end Grey's Anatomy before it ends us. Got biggest load of codswallop on TV. Dexter, twice. Got and How I Met Your Mother are the obvious answers. Star Trek, Enterprise. Hey, let's make the last episode a holodeck episode about two characters that aren't even in the show. Then for the coup de grace, we can needlessly kill off someone at random. House of Cards. Should have left Supernatural at Dean living a normal life. How I Met Your Mother. Any and all character development was undone. Barney went back to being a womanizer, and Ted, who spent the whole series coming to terms that Robin wasn't right for him, went running back to Robin. Awful finale. I mean, Game of Thrones definitely shat the bed. The writers admitted to half-assing it, and it really blows to see so many people's work go up in flames because two egomaniacs decided the hottest show in the world was suddenly beneath them. Gotta mention How I Met Your Mother as well. We were shown over and over again Ted and Robin. Wouldn't work, yet here we are. I really loved the idea of Barney, Robin being a happy child-free couple too. That concept is so rare. They had a setup for something really satisfying and decided not to stay with it. Heroes. The 100, the whole last season was messed up. Pretty Little Liars, I am still so mad at how bad the ending of that show was. The Last Man on Earth, awesome show, didn't know they were getting cancelled, left us with a major cliffhanger that was never resolved. Killing Eve. Anybody else using this thread to prevent themselves from beginning any of these shows? Obligatory HIMYM. Castle. Scrubs ended on a great high note with a goodbye to the main cast and crew, only to be brought back for a final season as a crappy spin-off disguised as Scrubs. Promised Neverland. Merlin. Absolute garbage, on top of season 5 itself being pretty stinky, and I'm still willing to get mad about it 11 years later. What is the single best episode of television you've ever seen? Chernobyl. Vichnaya Pamyat. Memory eternal. When the truth offends, we lie and lie until we can no longer remember it is even there, but it is still there. Every lie we tell incurs a debt to the truth. Sooner or later, that debt is paid. That I show an RBMK reactor core explodes. Lies. Ozymandias, Breaking Bad. Not a second was boring. Band of Brothers, Bastogne. South Park, Make Love, not Warcraft the episode Issa masterpiece. Charlie Work It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The Work Outing, the IT Crowd. You Only Move Twice, had the best Simpson one-off, Hank Scorpio. True Detective S01 EP04 Who Goes There? Red Wedding. Doctor Who. Blink I'm not a fan of series. I haven't watched all episodes. I've seen this very episode accidentally, years ago, and it is stuck in my head ever since. Itis based on one of most creative, original and disturbing ideas I have ever seen in my life. Zuko Alone. All paintball episodes of Community. The dinner party episode of The Office I had two friends exactly like Jan and Michael in this episode Tears of Joy. For a sitcom I think it's Top Banana from Arrested Development. First non-pilot episode nails so many of the characters down and introduces an inside joke I repeat in nearly every scene. The Bent Neck Lady, Haunting of Hill House. Doctor Who, Vincent and the Doctor, leaves me in tears every time. As a child, what's a song you sang loud and proud, only to find as an adult it's super inappropriate for a child to be singing? My 11-year-old, completely innocent niece. Let us shave some fun, this beat is sick, I wanna take a read on your disco stick. Me. Let's play a different song. My humps Black Eyed Peas apparently they were not just talking about milk and Cocoa Puffs. The particular song that mentions, I'll take you to the candy shop and let you lick my lollipop, left me completely unaware of its underlying meaning back then, as I blissfully enjoyed its melody. It wasn't me Shaggy. What caused your last breakup? I wasn't having X near as often as she was. He moved to his country because he missed his family. So he only sent a WhatsApp message saying was going to stay there. I would have preferred a call at least to break up a marriage. Simply, we grew apart. He married someone else while we lived together. Short version. He worked construction and stayed at the hotel he was remodeling during the week because it was almost 4 hours plus round trip per day because of traffic. Friday through Monday morning Shay was still at our apartment. He started acting weird, trying to flip it on me. And I ended up finding proof he was cheating. He begged me not to leave. I told him I needed space to think things through. While I was sorting out my feelings, his marriage certificate arrives at our apartment. Best part, it was to another girl, not even the one I caught him cheating on me with. I confronted him, he started crying, again, and stated he did it for us and actually meant it. Apparently this maid at the hotel caught his eye and he said he would never know if I was really the love of his life unless he got to know her because she'd always be his what if. So he started talking to her and learned she was getting deported because she was in the country illegally. So he married her, for us, and seriously wanted me to stick around while he figured out his feelings. Needless to say, I didn't stick around. Also, I haven't dated since because that really upped me up. He slowly got distant. I believe he lost interest and didn't dare be honest with me about that. She upped the guy she told me not to worry about. He seemed to struggle with the concept of no-ducking random people. She asked me to go to a weekend retreat aimed at dating couples to find out if they should get married. My first thought was, I don't want to do that. It went downhill pretty quick after that. I genuinely don't know. We dated for about 6 years, lived together, and I was never told of any issues or problems. I came home from work one day and she was gone along with all her stuff. She worked with me, both managers at the time, and she never came back to work. Deleted her Facebook. And I never heard from her again. Her parents didn't even know where she went. I was devastated. I couldn't afford our bills alone and couldn't find a roommate quick enough, so I downsized a lot to a little one-bed apartment. My life spiraled and depression hit me like a truck. I developed severe anxiety issues, abandonment issues, etc. It took me a few years to get my head right. I'm happy now with a newborn son and a great so, but that sucked and did cause issues for my current relationship, but she's been amazing and really helped me learn productive ways to deal with it. Please always at least say you're not happy and leaving instead of ghosting someone in a serious relationship. I did find out a few years later from a buddy we shared that he bumped into her and her new boyfriend, and from what he told me she was on drugs and it was pretty rough. Edit. Son to son. We had problems communicating. I didn't know when he was serious or when he was angry, and I took things very literally. Turns out I'm autistic and we didn't know what was up at that time. I'm pretty mentally ill and it just became too much. It hurts me every day. She left me and I don't fault her for it, I just wish we could have made things right together. She accidentally slipped and fell on another duodecic. Which incident makes you sick to your stomach? One of my very close friends was a recovering addict, fent, heroin, meth, and the night share elapsed due in part to her unbearable tooth pain. She was with some up people who thought she overdosed and died. Fearing they would be to blame for her death, they locked the door on the way out of her RV and set it on fire. By the time anyone realized it was on fire, it was too late. The coroner said she, in fact, was burned alive due to smoke that was in her lungs. I woke up from an evening nap to the sounds of screaming. At first I thought it was my roommates playing a video game, but soon realized it was coming from my open window. It was just one person screaming, over and over again. Turns out, our next-door neighbor killed herself. It was her cousin screaming after finding her body. Those gut-wrenching screams still ring in my ears when I think about that night. Edit. For grammar and punctuation. A lady who was having dinner at a local restaurant couldn't get rid of her hiccups, so the restaurant owner brought a spoonful of vinegar as a remedy, but he accidentally gave her oven cleaner. Her esophagus was completely burned and she can now only eat via stomach bag. Source: com.au/article/9B5-BBC-69F1-44E9-9C2E-EBA29753B07 Update note: the restaurant owner wasn't charged or fined and the lady is still fighting for compensation. A young woman in my neighborhood was brutally murdered by her boyfriend. It was true crime level bad. He strangled her and stabbed her repeatedly, dragging her all around the house, and then violated her while she was dying. Her brothers found her body. The murderer's best alibi was that he was dealing cocaine at the time. Sylvia Marie Likens, January 3, 1949 to October 26, 1965, was an American teenager who was tortured and murdered by her caregiver, Gertrude Baniszewski, many of Baniszewski's children, and several of their neighborhood friends. This abuse incrementally lasted for 3 months before Likens died from her extensive injuries and malnourishment. On October 26, 1965, in Indianapolis, Indiana, Likens was increasingly neglected, belittled, sexually humiliated, beaten, starved, lacerated, burned, and dehydrated by her tormentors. Her autopsy showed 150 wounds across her body, including several burns, scald marks, and eroded skin. Through intimidation, Her younger sister, Jenny, was occasionally forced to participate in her mistreatment. The official cause of her death was determined to be a homicide caused by a combination of subdural hematoma and shock, complicated by severe malnutrition. Junko Furuta loudly crying. Cambodian massacre. There are a lot of pictures with thousands of skulls, and at that time of Khmer Rouge their life expectancy was below 20 years.